Come on, come on, come on, come on. As one Crookshank, the one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking in for a daily Move Swiftly thought, giving you a perspective on teamwork you will not get anywhere else. We do not teach you how to rise to the occasion. That's not what we do. That's not what you're supposed to do. That's not what anybody does. In fact, what we teach you how to do here is fall to your level of preparation. And I cannot tell you how important that very thing is. That, I mean, listen, there's so much that has happened in the past 24 hours that I don't fully have the energy at this point, because I might have slept a couple hours last night. But listen, the saying and what I tell you guys on this channel every single day, falling to your level of preparation, just know it's very fucking important, because life comes at you really, really fast. You have to be prepared in the moment when life happens. All right. And again, I'll give you details and context about why I'm harping on this point so much later on down the line. But you got to fall to your level of preparation. You got to be prepared. You don't know when the day is. You don't know what the world, what's going to be required of you of this very day. You don't know the patience that you're going to need. You don't know what's got to be in you until you actually live through it and you put yourself through it in a situation where you're prepared. It's called survival skills. Fall to your level of preparation. You're not rising to the occasion. You're falling to your level of preparation. All right. So all that being said, it leads me right in to today's Move Swiftly thought, which I want to harp on because it's not something I'm necessarily directing at a specific person, because what I have learned and what became very, very clear to me just yesterday is that it's me. It is as one Crookshank. It is your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, as one Crookshank. It is primarily my fault that I get so fucking annoyed with coworkers. All right, there's several coworkers, not just the ones I'm currently dealing with now, but it has been a pattern with me in every job, every sense of employment, every kind of the situation I've been in when it comes to employment and being around and forced to be around colleagues or business associates, people that want to work with me. I get really fucking annoyed. I get really annoyed. And today's Move Swiftly thought is all about how to deal with people who annoy the fuck out of you, that is the thumbnail today, how to deal with people you work with that annoy the fuck out of you. The first thing you have to do, very first thing you have to do, again, I'm teaching you as I'm going through it myself. This is my process. I'm giving you my process in terms of how to deal with people that annoy the shit out of you, is you take your right hand and you give yourself a pat on the back. You just give yourself a pat on the back, because the fact that they're annoying you means you care. The fact that you're annoyed by certain people means you're difficult to work with, means that you care enough to be difficult. You have an opinion, you have a personality, you have thoughts, you have actual constructive things, constructive destroy, whatever. You have something to offer the workplace, which is what is needed. You don't need people nowadays, especially nowadays, you don't need people that are going to sit back and just agree with everything, the way everything is done. You don't grow a business like that. You don't grow an organization like that. You don't grow anything when it comes to just people who just want to sit back and just kind of just play the status quo, kind of play the game in which they do everything right and they just want to keep their job. You don't win like that. You win by being disagreeable. You win by going and creating new things. You win by just continuously being annoyed with the lack of incompetence amongst other people and calling out the lack of incompetence. So first thing you do, pat yourself on the back. The next thing you do, take a deep breath and understand your bigger picture. Understand really what's going on. Do not react in the moment. All right. Do not react in the moment, and just take a bigger picture on what's going on. Get to the next moment, and then find the promotional opportunity within that moment. Find the thing, and here's because what happened yesterday was there was a situation that I had to deal with that really didn't necessarily require me to deal with, but because I was dealing with some people that just really, again, I have to work with. I don't have to necessarily like them, but again, you have to fucking deal with them. I just did what was asked of me because I knew in my mind, hey, I'm qualified to do it. If they're giving me the ranks to get to what it is they're telling me to do, and I do it here, there's the promotional opportunity for Aswan to say, hey, this is how I did it, this is how I handled it, and this is how the situation was, because these ones didn't want to do what it is they need to do. Again, I'm not giving you context because I don't have permission to share names and all that kind of stuff. Again, I'm a seasoned speaker enough not to put certain names out there and stuff like that. But if you know me personally, you know what the fuck it is I'm talking about, all right? But if you don't know me, then I'm just giving you because you can think of someone. And here's the thing, and I'll close you out with this concept. You can think of an individual right now, as I'm telling you the story. You can think of an individual right now that you deal deal with that, you have that same thought about it. The same mentality to where it's like, why don't you just fucking do what it is you're required to do? And what I'm telling you to do in this moment is you go ahead and create the opportunity for yourself, because when you get promoted, here's the thing about, I think it was Bill Gates who said this at one point. He said you should be really nice to nerds, or no, you should welcome lazy people, because lazy people are going to give you the opportunity to be promoted, because you're just going to do the stuff that they don't feel like doing, or they don't want to do, that they want to avoid, because they don't want to ruffle any feathers and shit like that. So again, all that being said, to today's move simply thought to give it to you in a concrete fashion. When you deal with people that fucking annoy you, congratulate yourself because you care enough, lean into it, and just simply do the stuff that they don't feel like doing, and get yourself promoted, get yourself into a better situation, get yourself into a situation in which you are happy, which you're happy with, and it comes from the fact that, hey, some lazy person gave you the opportunity to do it because they didn't want to do it their damn selves, right? That's the long and end of today's Move Simply Thought. All that being said, main website to check out to dive deeper into all the work I do, it's makeyourmove.com. That's makeyourmove.com. One-stop shop for your teamwork and your self-development needs. As one Crookshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker. Check it out, and you guys continue to move.
We will talk more. So just so we're clear, the actual, I looked it up. So the actual quote is that Bill Gates loves lazy people to do difficult jobs, because a lazy person is always going to find an easy way to do stuff. And it's kind of tongue-in-cheek, but not tongue-in-cheek when you're talking about a person who's just lazy in general, lazy by nature. Yes, hardworking, work ethic individuals like myself, they can provide some value because they do find easier ways to do things, but they're really, really temporary, and they're really, really flaky folks. And that's kind of what I was referring to in the topic of what we're going to be discussing today. I'll keep this live short and sweet. Normally, what I do on Thursdays is I recap everything that we spoke about. I'll bring you up on some current events. I will, maybe especially now that it's football season, I'll be talking to you a little bit about the game that I'm going to be doing tomorrow. I'm going to be doing a game tomorrow because this Saturday it's a pretty hectic day, so I won't have time to do a full game. And then Michigan plays Nebraska late, so I'm going to they play them at 3:30, so I'll be catching that one. I'll be locked in on that once. And during the day, I actually have an event, a leadership summit to go to. That's going to be very, very important for me to be at. It's with First Serve. I'm a new site supervisor there. So a lot of things going, a lot of great things going on this weekend. And I cannot wait to get to it. All right. So as far as me, if you're new to this channel, let me just introduce myself real quick to anybody that is new around here, new to me, new to what I'm all about. My name, it's Aswan Crookshank. I'm your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, former Division I college football player, and current 5-time, soon to be 6-time published author and educator. I created this whole brand, this whole concept, this whole framework that's all about taking the innovative teamwork lessons that you learned on the football field, applying them to businesses and business owners so they have a staff and or a group of employees that moves as efficiently as a championship high school or youth football team. Be right there. You can see it on the screen. If you're interested in more of that stuff, it is simply makeyourmove.com. That's makeyourmove.com. You can book me to speak. You can download a free guide. You can purchase the books. All of that is right available there. Turn your business into a championship team. It is common knowledge that the best way to win in business or in life is by avoiding ways to lose. Whether you just started a new business or you've been in business for quite some time, there's no getting around the need to hire or outsource certain elements of your organization so things can run as efficiently as possible. When you book a meeting with Aswan, he'll diagnose what the issues are with your current system and then strategically create a system in which will lead to a reduced amount of turnover or a clear understanding of the parts of your business that need to be outsourced. All right. So that is what we do around here in a nutshell. And again, today we're just recapping everything that we've been talking about all week, which is, are you being talked about? And the reason the title is what it is today is that happened. It happened. I'd say it happens regularly with me, and it happens regularly with me. And as I sat down and I thought about why it doesn't matter what job I've had, it doesn't matter who I've worked with, it doesn't matter where it's been happening since I was a kid, that they do get a point. There's a point in which when I'm around folks for too long, I get incredibly irritable. I get incredibly annoyed with incompetence. I get incredibly annoyed when people come at me with certain questions that that insinuate that I don't know what the fuck it is I'm doing, that insinuate I'm not qualified to do a certain thing. See, here's the thing about myself and anybody. I'm not speaking just for myself. I'm speaking for anybody that has any level of work ethic, any type of takes any sort of pride in terms of what they do for just what they do, whether it's for a living or what they do from a nonprofit standpoint, what they do as a kid. If you're a basketball player and you're really passionate about basketball, and somebody comes at you on some stuff about like how you don't know how to shoot a jump shot, even though you practice your moves every single day, it doesn't matter. When you have work ethic and folks, and you take what you do very seriously, and folks come at you as if you don't know what you're doing, or they insinuate that you would even think of doing something harmful, you take it personal. Take that personal. It's part of you're going to take it personal. All right. And that is where the annoyance comes in, is when I have to deal with it on a regular basis. I've dealt with it on a regular basis. It's something that I have become accustomed to. When folks come at me on the sentiment, or they have the presence, or they have the tone in which I don't know what it is I'm doing, that absolutely annoys me. And what I'm telling you here, again, it's going to lead in to our recap today, is that is a sign of you growing. That's a sign of something positive has happened in your life, because you're supposed to take that kind of pride in your work. You're supposed to have that reaction when you're being attacked. You're supposed to be the person that, hey, if I gotta be the one to make it uncomfortable, I'm going to be the one to make it uncomfortable. Actually, just if you go back and listen to a couple of about a month ago, July 4th. It was July 4th. Move Swiftly thought, because we had I teach at a school, and we had a presenter who was talking about how to protect yourself if there's an active shooter, and he used the concept of sheeps, wolves, and sheepdogs. All right, now sheeps, obviously, you know what that is. Those are the spineless folks that do nothing but stay quiet during meetings. They do nothing but complain about the job that they go to every single day. Nothing good happens. All they do is complain. They're just sheep, and they want to be told what to do. Again, about 10 or 15 of them right now that you can name off the top of your head. There's more sheep than anything. However, then there's the wolves. There's the attackers. There's the ones that are intentionally coming in to do some sort of harm. They're intentionally coming in to create negative things in your business or negative things in your operation. They are the wolves. They're attacking the sheep. Now, the sheepdogs have to be the people that protect the sheep from the wolves. The difference is that the issue is always coming up that when you're a sheepdog, you have the same mentality as the wolf, because you got to be the one protecting the wolf. All right. So as a sheepdog, that just has to be the mentality. The mentality you have to have is that of the wolf. And that's what leads to getting annoyed with sheep-like behavior, with people who have sheep-like behavior, and they annoy the hell out of you. So what you have to accept and what you have to do is you have to give yourself some grace. You have to give yourself a level like a boost of confidence, and understand that when you're talked about, again, and this is why I brought this up today, because when you're talked about, that usually means it's because you're making a dent. It usually means because you're making something great happen. It usually means because you are out there making a dent. You are out there making something happen that other folks and other sheep wish that they can do. They wish they can they wish they can have your work ethic. They wish they can put in the work you have. They wish they can put in the work that you have put in. They wish they can have your mentality. They wish they can have your knowledge. They wish they can have so many of the things that you have, that they have absolutely nothing better to do than to try to deteriorate and diminish what you do, so it doesn't reflect so poorly on them. So the question doesn't come up, hey, Aswan did this, Aswan created this, Aswan had this opportunity, the same opportunity as you had the same opportunity as Aswan, but Aswan took advantage of this and you didn't. They want to avoid having that conversation, even though it's the actual truth. All right. So being talked about when you're talking, to put the kind of the final cap on all week, what we've been discussing all week, being talked about, part of being is actually being annoyed with folks who don't understand. And that is only going to lead to good things if you can stay patient. However, there's a process to it. And let's get into the process. Let's get into the understanding of being talked about. So, like I told you guys Monday, this whole thing, the whole, yes, right here, it's right here. The whole theme of this week started just about a month or two ago, where I was told that I couldn't record my podcast at the school I teach at. The school I've been teaching at for now 3 years, school that I've made it. I've seen a lot at this school. I've seen a lot of kids coming in and out. Seen a lot of coworkers come in and out of this school, and I know exactly who to talk to. I knew exactly what it is I need to be saying in terms of the show. Spoke to the right people, and all of a sudden, even though nothing that you see on this feed, nothing that you see on this channel, nothing that I've ever put out there was put the school in a negative light, all of a sudden I have to stop recording this show all at the school grounds, which again, it took me by surprise. It bothers me. It still bothers me to this day. But at the same kind of in the second sentence of that, the second sentiment is that like there's somebody out there that's talking so much about me that all of a sudden I have to give up and I have to stop doing something that's mutually beneficial to myself and to the school. Okay, that means there's a promotion coming. I'm going to go find somewhere else to do it. I'm going to just, move on and brush it off. But what I do know is now I have to protect myself. And that is the positive of being talked about. So that's what tailored this whole discussion. It was that. And then also we're able to mix in a little bit about what Charlie Kirk stood for. So this past Tuesday on Top 5 Tuesday, and so for those of you who don't know, let me just kind of give you the system that we work from around here in the Move Swiftly world. Number one, Monday, it's all about a kickoff question. All right, it's a kickoff question that's meant to be thought-provoking, meant to provide some value, meant to be something that makes you think about what it is you're doing and how you're going to develop. So number one is Make Your Move Monday kickoff question. Number two, I'm sorry, not number two, but Tuesday, I'm kind of, but that's the power of the system. Anyway, Monday, Make You Move Monday kickoff question. Tuesday, we have our Top 5 Tuesday. It's going to be related to whatever theme we're going to be talking about all week. So this week's Top 5 Tuesday was the top 5 reasons to be talked about in the right way. And I used the unfortunately have to say that I do have some thoughts on Jimmy Kimmel's show being canceled. I'll get to those tomorrow morning. But I used either tomorrow morning or Saturday morning. I want to dive deeper into the Dabo Sweeney's press conference. So between Dabo and Jimmy Kimmel, those are the next current events I'll be talking about, probably for Friday or Saturday. I haven't decided which one yet. But anyway, so the late Charlie Kirk, unfortunately saying late now. It's sad that I'm actually saying the late Charlie Kirk now. But I used his life and the way the presence that he built as an example for the top 5 reasons we talked about, which we discussed. And then on Wednesday, there's Wintrepreneur Wednesday, winning Wintrepreneur, again, a term that I coined. And at times I'll feature some people, or I'll feature myself, or there'd be a situation that would provide a Wintrepreneur Wednesday thought. All right. So that's the system that we work from around here. So as far as Top 5 Tuesday, in terms of being talked about, number one was ruffling feathers, make some people angry. You can't shy away from this. All right, this is a big one because this stops a lot of people. It stops a lot of people because in your own mind, you show up to do your work every day. You show up at your job. You show up at your business every day, and you're so afraid of angering people that you never actually get your business started, and you never actually do the things that you want to do in your heart and mind. And unfortunately, again, being a person that has constantly gets attacked on the regular by his very own, staff members, by his very own employees, very own coworkers, I can tell you from experience, this part is big because what starts happening is you start seeing forms and cliques start to form. And when they get comfortable with their clique, a person like me who's kind of an outsider in the situation that I'm in, you start attacking the person who's an outsider. You start attacking that person and making that person putting that person in an isolated situation. And that's how you say you're doing your job. That is kind of the lens in which you are using to validate yourself and validate your own self-worth. That's a dangerous place to be in because you don't grow in that situation. The person that you're isolating, the person that you're attacking, actually that person's growing. So it's actually the opposite thing that you want happen. So ruffle some feathers, piss some people off, feel isolated, be be lonely. All right, that's part of being a leader. Next thing you got to do is you got to believe wholeheartedly in what you do, so much to the point that you would lose your life for the cause. You have to do that. That's part of the cause. Again, in light of the Charlie Kirk situation, I didn't want to be insensitive in terms of using the term death, but that's how much, and it just based on what you can see about him, that's how much he actually believed in what he was saying. And I'm sure if he was here, he'd be so proud of the people who supported him, the people who loved him, the proud in terms of especially his wife, who came on camera and spoke and said, hey, what he built will not die. What he built will not die. All right. So it's number two. Number three, lean into your natural abilities, folks. Lean into the things that you're naturally gifted at. We all have something, and you got to lean into those natural abilities. Number four, surround yourself with the right people. And number five, do not hide ever. You can't duck anyone. So that was the top 5 Tuesday, and it was all based on in terms of what are the best ways to be talked about. And finally, yesterday, we talked about my Michigan Wolverines. I'm a diehard Michigan Wolverine fan. It was great to talk about Mr. Coach Biff Poggi. Biff Poggi is from Maryland, and he's right now he's the interim head coach as Sharon Moore is serving his suspension, his bullshit suspension, to be quite honest with you. But he got a win, and I kind of ran you through what Biff Poggi was all about, and all of this is available on this very channel. Again, when I tell you guys I'm a 5-time, soon to be 6-time published author, is because these articles are going to be sort of reworded and put into an actual book format, because I do them every day, consistent with it. And it's all about teaching systems and utilizing systems and making it so systems are working harder than you. So that's kind of just a recap as far as today's concerned. Now, what to look forward to is tomorrow. As far as tomorrow, we will be, if you go over to Film Session Saturday, you see the last game I did was the Michigan Wolverines versus the Central Michigan Chippewas. Yeah, the Chippewas. So this week on that channel, we'll have the Rutgers versus Iowa full game. I'll be watching that one. And then tomorrow, throughout the week, next week, actually, I'll give you kind of a preview of next week since I've left Sundays over. But next week, we're going to be dissecting the understanding of principles and what it means to be a principled individual and stand on your ground and figuring out what your principles need to be and allowing and creating those pillars in your organization, those pillars in your business, so you have something firm and solid to stand on. All right. So again, all that being said, main website to check out to dive deeper into everything I'm about. If you want more, if you want the staff, if you want the things that need to happen in your business so your organization can grow, simply go to makeyourmove.com. That's MakeYaMove.com. It's your one-stop shop for all your teamwork and your self-development needs. All of the information is right there for you to contact me, and we can get something started and get something set up in which you have me as your person that's implementing a system so your staff flourish, for your staff to actually flourish. All right. Again, as one Crookshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking out. You guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.